Donald Trump's recent visit to China has become one of the most talked about geopolitical events of 2026. The visit featured massive diplomatic pageantry, billion-dollar business announcements, strategic negotiations, and intense discussions on trade, technology, Taiwan, and the global economy. But behind the smiles and handshakes, a much bigger question remains: did Trump actually secure major deals, or was this simply a temporary pause in the growing rivalry between the world's two biggest powers? And most importantly, what does this mean for India and the rest of the world? Today, we break down the key agreements, the hidden tensions, the economic impact, and why the entire world is closely watching this relationship. Welcome to Current Affairs Simplified, where we break down complex issues into clear and easy explanations. Let's begin. The major deals announced. Let's now look at the most important agreements and announcements from the visit. 1. Boeing aircraft deal. Trump announced that China would purchase around 200 Boeing aircraft as part of a major aviation agreement. This is significant because Boeing has struggled in recent years. China is one of the world's largest aviation markets, and aircraft deals are often symbolic signs of improving relations. However, China later described many of these agreements as preliminary, meaning final implementation details are still under negotiation. 2. Agricultural trade expansion. Both countries also discussed increasing Chinese imports of American soybeans, beef, poultry, and agricultural products. This is politically important for Trump because American farmers were heavily affected during earlier trade wars. China also agreed to discuss reducing certain barriers affecting U.S. agricultural exports. 3. Tariff reduction talks. Perhaps the biggest development was the decision to create new trade and investment negotiation mechanisms aimed at discussing product-specific tariff reductions. This does not mean tariffs are gone, but it signals that both countries may want to avoid another full-scale economic confrontation. Global markets welcomed this as a sign of temporary stability. 4. Strait of Hormuz and energy security. Another major discussion involved the ongoing West Asia crisis and the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most critical oil routes. Trump and Xi reportedly agreed that the strait must remain open for global trade and energy security. This matters because rising tensions in the Middle East have already caused energy price volatility worldwide. What was not resolved? Despite the headlines, many major issues remain unresolved. Taiwan. Taiwan remains the biggest geopolitical flashpoint between the US and China. Xi Jinping reportedly warned against actions that could increase tensions around Taiwan. Trump avoided making strong commitments publicly, and no major breakthrough was announced. AI and semiconductor restrictions. The United States still maintains restrictions on advanced chip exports to China. These restrictions are central to the global AI race. No major agreement was reached on technology restrictions during the visit. And this is extremely important because the future global economy may depend on who dominates: artificial intelligence, semiconductor manufacturing, quantum computing, and advanced robotics. Strategic rivalry continues. Experts say the visit created stability without solutions. In simple words, both countries want to avoid immediate conflict, but neither side is willing to give up strategic dominance. Impact on India. Now comes the question most Indians are asking: how does this affect India? The answer is very important. Over the past few years, many global companies shifted manufacturing away from China under the China Plus One strategy. India became one of the biggest beneficiaries. Companies started investing in electronics manufacturing, smartphones, semiconductor projects, and supply chains in India. If US-China relations improve significantly, some companies may slow their diversification plans. But experts believe the larger strategic competition is far from over. That means India still has a huge opportunity to become a manufacturing hub, a semiconductor destination, and a strategic alternative to China. At the same time, stable US-China relations can also help India by reducing global inflation, stabilizing oil prices, and improving export markets. So for India, the outcome is mixed but largely positive. Global impact. The entire world is affected when the US and China interact. Together, these two economies influence global trade, energy markets, technology, manufacturing, and international finance. If tensions reduce, markets may stabilize, supply chains may recover, and inflation pressures could ease. But if negotiations fail later, tariffs could return, technology wars could intensify, and the world may split into competing economic blocs. Many analysts now believe the world is entering a new era, not full cooperation, but controlled competition between superpowers. Conclusion. Trump's China visit was filled with symbolism, headlines, and diplomatic theater. Some economic agreements were announced. Communication channels were reopened, and both sides projected stability. But the deeper rivalry remains unresolved. The battle over technology, trade, Taiwan, artificial intelligence, and global influence is far from over. For India, this could actually become a historic opportunity. Because while America and China compete, countries like India may emerge as the biggest long-term winners. And that could reshape the global economy for decades. If you like this video, subscribe for more deep geopolitical analysis, current affairs and strategic insights. See you in the next video.